Good evening. My name is Devin Whitaker, and this presentation covers my capstone research on strengthening Disney's streaming strategy. This project analyzes Disney's financial performance, competitive pressures, and long-term sustainability as the company shifts from traditional media to direct-to-consumer streaming. Here's the roadmap for today's presentation. I'll start with background on Disney's changing media landscape, then walk through the problem statement, purpose, and significance of the research. I'll summarize the literature review, explain my research methods, present the findings, and end with the SWOT analysis and strategic recommendations. Disney has undergone a major transformation in how it delivers content. Streaming disrupted traditional TV, and Disney responded by launching Disney Plus back in 2019. As the streaming market matured, growth slowed down, and costs increased. Meanwhile, Disney's theme parks became the company's financial backbone, which is risky during economic downturns. This sets the stage for strategic challenges I will explore throughout this project. The core problem is that Disney's media division continues to lose money due to high content costs and intense competition. At the same time, the company relies heavily on theme parks for profit. My research question asks, what steps Disney can take to make its streaming and media businesses more profitable while reducing dependence on the parks? The purpose is to analyze financial and competitive pressures and identify long-term strategies using a SWOT framework. This research matters because streaming has shifted from a growth race to a profitability race. Disney faces strong competitors like Netflix and Amazon, rising production costs, and declining TV revenue. My analysis focuses on fiscal year 2020 through fiscal year 2026 and examines Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus. I rely on official Disney filings and industry data to understand where the company is improving and where the vulnerabilities remain. The literature shows several key themes. Disney reorganized its media division to prioritize direct-to-consumer distribution. Subscriber growth was strong early on, but profitability lagged. Sports streaming emerged as a major opportunity, especially with ESPN WWE deal. Competitively, Disney faces pressures from Netflix, Amazon, and others. And finally, risks like regulation labor strikes and shrinking cable TV revenue continue to shape the company's strategy. I used a mixed method research design with triangulation. First, I analyzed Disney's official filings for financial and subscriber data. Second, I use outside sources like Statista and Investopedia for industry comparisons. Third, I cross-check data across sources to confirm accuracy. And finally, I applied business and media economics theory to interpret the findings and identify strategic implications. This table shows Disney's financial performance from fiscal year 2020 to fiscal year 2025. Revenue grew 44% over this period, and net income recovered from a pandemic-era loss of $2.9 billion to a projected $12.4 billion in fiscal year 2025. Content spending peaked in 2022 and then declined by $10 billion, which significantly improved profitability. This chart visualizes the revenue growth. The upward trend reflects the recovery of the theme parks, the expansion of streaming, and strong box office performance. Fiscal year 2025 marks the highest revenue in Disney's history. Disney Plus subscriber growth peaked in fiscal year 2022 at 164 million. The decline in fiscal year 2023 reflects market saturation and price increases, but fiscal year 2024 shows a recovery. This pattern highlights the challenge of balancing subscriber growth with profitability. Disney's recovery was driven by three factors: the rebound of theme parks, the growth of Disney Plus, and strong film releases. These segments work together to push revenue higher, but they also reveal how dependent the company remains on the parks. Streaming went from a $4 billion loss in fiscal year 2022 to a $1.3 billion profit in fiscal year 2025. This turnaround came from cutting content spending, raising prices, and launching ad-supported plans. However, Disney's 8.4% streaming margin still trails Netflix's 29.5%, showing room for improvement. This slide shows revenue by business segment. Entertainment brings in the most revenue, but parks and experiences remains the most profitable. Sports is growing, especially with ESPN's shift towards streaming. Disney plans to invest $60 billion in parks over the next decade, which reinforces both the strength and the risk of relying on this segment. Here, I highlight the major financial turnaround. Net income improved from a $2.9 billion loss to $12.4 billion in 5 years. Earnings per share also increased significantly. These improvements were driven by reduced content spending, strong park performance, and successful film releases. Streaming profitability is a major milestone for Disney, but the company still lags behind Netflix. Theme parks continue to support the entire ecosystem, but they expose Disney to economic risk. And finally, Disney's shift toward fewer, higher quality releases is proven more effective than high volume content production. Disney competes with Netflix, Amazon, Apple, Warner Brothers Discovery. Netflix remains the profitability leader. Disney's advantage, however, is its diversified ecosystem. Parks, merchandise, films, and streaming, all of which reinforce each other. But the same complexity makes it harder to match Netflix efficiency. This SWOT analysis summarizes Disney's strategic position. Strengths include world-class brands and a profitable park division. Weaknesses include declining TV revenue and lower streaming margins. Opportunities include ad-supported streaming, ESPN's transition, and global park expansion. Threats include strong competitors, economic slowdowns, and regulatory challenges. My recommendations focus on improving streaming profitability and reducing reliance on the theme parks. Disney should prioritize fewer high-quality releases, grow revenue per subscriber, accelerate ESPN's streaming launch, fully merge Hulu and Disney Plus, and leverage its brands across all business units. These steps directly address the problem question and support long-term sustainability. These are the primary and secondary sources used throughout the project, including Disney's annual reports, SEC filings, Statista, Investopedia, and Netflix shareholder letter.